Hey everybody, welcome back to the Space Agency. I'm Wandering Kid. So as you can see, I've got a refueler hooked up to the Aries boots. This is actually the last one we're setting up. Dumbo's gone through 2 versions. It's up to the Dumbo 10. And one of the things I'm doing at the moment is I'm filling these little 2 side tanks that I carry up empty with me. Just to keep me from having to try and play whack-a-mole with the on-off switch with the fuel. And this way I just move enough fuel from my deorbit over into these little tanks, and then I can completely dump the main tank. So, not that one, this one. Come on, there you are. And so while we finish dumping these tanks, as most of you probably know, KSP 1.0 is supposed to come out next week. I think it's Tuesday, is usually their launch date. I don't expect I'll actually get my hands on a copy till Wednesday, because I'm sure the server is going to be bombarded. But I'm sure people are curious about what my plans are going to be for the 1.0 launch. And there's a couple of things I intend to do. First, oh cool, we are fully fueled up on the boots. Excellent. We'll have to burn off some fuel on the way in, but that's fine. So my plans are to make sure that I finish off the Duna mission. Now, if I can do that in 1.0, I will. If I can move my persistence over. But my guess is my persistence file isn't going to be able to get over. There's probably going to be a lot of changes in the contract system, from what I heard. So I may lose the majority of my Duna contracts. I don't know. If it doesn't make sense to bring that into 1.0, I'm going to finish off Duna in 90. And then I'll start a new career. One of the other things I plan to do is see if I can't, once I get my hands on 1.0, I'm going to go play around. I don't Twitch stream or anything like that, so I'm not sure if that makes sense for me to set up any kind of Twitch streaming or anything of that nature. I've done it once. I'm not the most interesting guy in the world. We'll just leave it there. Yeah. But, oh, okay, we're coming around. So, I don't know. What I figure I'll do is I'll make some videos up about me screwing around in it for people who are curious. And we will go check it out. There's a bunch of massive changes going on inside 1.0. Aeronautics, among other things. So a lot of my current rockets probably won't even work in 1.0. So, it's going to take some time. We're going to have to check it out. We're going to have to play around with it. We're going to have to see what happens in it, in the stock aero model. They're bringing in some form of Kerbal alarm clock. We'll see how good that is, things like that. So I'll see if I can't make a run through on all the feature changes and the feature list when they actually release the final version of it. I know there's a giant list up in the forums about it. But we'll see what we can do with that. And I'll try and make sure you all get your hands on a piece of that. Now, I'm sure Scott Manley and Danny and all of those guys who have early access are going to have plenty of material for you guys, so probably going to be hot and heavy for me to get there. Especially since they've been able to get their hands on it for a little bit, but they're embargoed at the moment. They'll probably be able, I think they're able to release this weekend after the squad cast, but we'll see. There's some talk on the forums, but I'm not sure. Anyway, either way, Duna will finish. All these bits and pieces and toys and things like that I've built up, they're going to go. I'm going to finish out this run one way or another. Now, if I can't get 1.0 to play nice with this file, I'm going to start the career over. But this time we're going to do it a lot faster. I know I've got tons and tons of videos about this career, and a whole bunch of different things I've been trying out and things like that. Hopefully, if I do restart, if I have to restart this from scratch, because they just won't be compatible, what we'll do is I'll try and speed things along in the career, and I'll see if I can't do a high velocity career instead of this tinkering around and dinking around all over the place and everything else I've been doing. We'll see if we can't do that. So, we've got some launches coming up for the rest of the Duna craft here shortly, and I'll bring you back in a minute. So we're on final approach with the Dumbo 10-4. I think, or is it the Dash 5? I don't remember anymore. There's been a bunch of Dumbos. Took 8 refuelers to go up and actually finally finish refueling the boots. But it's finally done. I got a little bit of fuel left over in this. I didn't want to come in too tight because, well, mountains, they're bad. So we'll burn this off as we finish coming in here. And this landing should go relatively smooth, I hope. We'll just finish burning that off. There we go. Burn off a little of our RCS. That should do it. We'll try and keep ourselves level with ground. Let's pop these 2 chutes, our little drogue chutes. They're not actually drogues, but we're using them that way. So we're coming in at a decent clip. We'll get to about 90 off the ground here, pop the rest of the chutes, slow ourselves down. Try and keep it even, see if I can't get it even with ground. Slip's about 5.3, so I think about like so. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. And we're good. We'll recover that. And at 96.8, we recovered almost 110K. We're back up to 1.87 million. I had lost a bunch along the way. For those curious, we lost a couple of Dumbos here. One, the front end just wouldn't connect. I don't know, something went horribly wrong with the docking port permanently. That one we just deorbited and crashed into the sea. Another one spontaneously disassembled on liftoff. One of the SRBs took out the center engine. I had angled too far over on the pitch. So, but that's the boots all refueled. So we got 3 more to go. The next one up is a Test 2E Interstellar. The Interstellar, by the time it gets up to here, has about 7,780 delta V. The idea here is this thing should be able to get pretty much anywhere for an insertion burn. It's not meant to come home. Of interest in it is the fact that I have 2 refueling satellites. So if we take a look here, both of these are xenon refueler satellites, and actually I forgot to do something. I want to slap a little bit of science on both of these. And the reason for that is I'm going to use these as polar orbit satellites on Ike. I'm just not sure where I want to stick these things. Okay, I did grab the thermostat, right? There we go. There we go. Alright, so stick one there, and we'll stick one of those there. And the other thing we want is grav. And there we go. Now, because I've upgraded the VAB, I do actually have action groups, and Custom Zero will handle that. That's what I'm going to be using for the majority of my solar panels. And in general, this should go up without too much of a hitch. So we'll get this one into orbit next. This Interstellar is aimed for Ike. So 1 or 2 more things. Let's get some structurals on here, just so I can lift off dead straight. There we go. Let's save the base and test 2E. Ike. Up we go. We're not controlling from a useful place here. Let's control from that docking port. There we go. Alright, max throttle it. SAS is on. Let's put this bird in space. And there we go. The Test 2E Ike with 2 refuelers, and I did remember to put a replacement. Oh darn! I think I forgot to put an antenna on this thing again. Oh no, there it is. So I did get an antenna in there. So this thing should be ready to go to Duna when we hit our launch window. We've got about 205 meters per second on these worth of kick, then we got 2,700, so we got about 2,900 meters per second in orbit, ready to take this thing wherever it's got to go. The Duna window is in 47 days. I've got a couple of more things that are still working on finishing up some contracts. Now, let me show you those. So here's my contract list at the moment. Obviously, I've got an open contract here for Kerbin. Not liking much of this. All these 1 stars really just aren't worth doing anymore. It's just pointless. Maybe some polar orbit satellites or gain some science, but So we've got our Class A and our Class B asteroids. That's still going on. The Class A is about 3 days out from its next burn. I'll show you that here in a bit. That's the other mission I'm going to finish before, if 1.0 will come over, is grabbing that asteroid and bringing it home. I've got an orbital station around Moon that's just waiting for this thing to tell me to put a station in Solar. I figured I'll do both at once. I got a science from space around Minmus. I can go be cheap and go snag that. So we've got a Duna outpost that needs to be built. I've got a Minmus outpost that's on its way there, with 7 Kerbals. I need to put a satellite around Duna, 2 of them, and 1 around Ike. Explore Duna and Ike, and an orbital station around Ike. Now, the orbital station around Ike needs 8 Kerbals and a cupola, power antenna, docking port, things of that nature. It needs to go around Ike. That's going to be the shield, which we're going to launch now. So the Aries shield went through a couple of iterations, and the primary component of the shield is up here. It's got 2 3-man command pods, the Mark 1-2s. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of them, but these are basically emergency rescue vehicles in case a Kerbal strands with a wolf, or in case something goes horribly wrong, or if I would need to get a scientist or an engineer down to Ike or Duna. That's what these are for. They're just carrying a couple of 2477s on them. They're not meant for use on Kerbin. It's got some RCS fuel tanks just to refuel everybody up, and it's got its processing lab, the cupola 3, so I've got 7 men there. That station needed 8, right? Oh yeah, that's right, this takes 2, so I've got 3, 6, 9 Kerbals on here on the Aries Shield 3. As I said, I went through a few iterations. This down here is basically its kick for the burn. So we're going to try and lift this all in one shot for the burn to Duna. So here's the shield's launcher. It's going to start off with the SRBs. That'll give us a bit of a kick. It's also going to use these 4 engines down here as well, the Kerbinites. Next up, we're going to kick all them off. Then we're going to go to a 2.07 very briefly. Then in stage 3, after we kick off 2 of these side engines, we're going to bring in the main engine, and we're going to asparagus through that, and hopefully get ourselves pretty close to orbit with just a little bit of our kick engine as the final bits and pieces. Let's see if this works. Now, Jeb's thinking he's taking a flight on this. I'm relatively sure I've got drone capacity on this. I thought I did anyway. Let me double check. It is meant to be manned. Not that I mind Jeb flying up, but I haven't tested this orbital launcher yet, so I'm not too comfy with that theory. Get out of there, boss. Alright, so this one cost me $382K to put up. I swore I had slotted in a drone unit. Apparently not. Let me fix that. Well, that makes me a little nervous, actually. And down here I got a docking port senior, okay. That tells me I'm not sure I finished building out everything I needed to on this. Alright, we've got paracommunicatrons up there. I've got generators on both of the rescue crafts. I do not have generators on the main craft. Alright. A couple more pieces. There, that should do it. Let's save that back off. So we're up to 394K. Now I've got a battery, a generator, a remote guidance unit, and a cupola on it. That's looking a little better. Alright. Let's see if we can't send this to space. I don't think I'm missing anything else. Alright, we're on the launch pad. We'll see if we can't park this up at about, 78, 79K. Yep, we're good. Full throttle. Don't need to be seeing that. And off we go. And there we go. Nearly perfectly round orbit. So the shield is in play. It's sitting at roughly 79K. That should keep it out of the orbital path of everybody else that's up here. It's getting a little cluttered. The final bird to put up will be the sword. I've done 2 test flights with that in the simulator for the orbital launcher, and I'll bring you that here shortly. I want that to be the last one I put up because I want to see if I can't grab a couple of more Duna satellite contracts before we leave. And I'm planning on using the Hawks to complete those satellites. So, we're going to complete out the rest of the trash missions I got kicking around here in Kerbin SOI, and then we're going to start fast forwarding and heading for Duna right after I get the sword up. So, bring you right back. So, speaking of asteroids, the next burn for our A-class asteroid 2 is about to pop up. So I just skipped ahead 2 days, but so be it. I'm pulling it on the node, and we'll do our burn, and then we'll start up a correction burn. There we go. So my burn should take 1 minute, 1 minute and 36 seconds. What is my rendezvous target? I guess it doesn't matter. I can shut off rendezvous. I don't care at the moment. And we don't need to see that. So we just need to wait until our burn time. Yeah, that should be about right. Nukes are a go. Alright. So we've done our burn to go out and meet things. In particular our Class B here, which we haven't seen yet. So next up, we're going to play... Whoa. No, that's not what I meant to do. Kill that. So now we come out roughly about here. So if I add a maneuver in 5 days, let's see if we can get this closer. I want to try and come in. If we can, we want to try and aim for like 100K or so. Let's see how things go. Whoa. That didn't help. Alright, let's cancel that and try that again. There we go. That's 199.8 kilometers. That's not too bad for the next burn. What we'll do is we'll just keep stepping adjustments in. Now, if I bring this back towards me some. Right, let's... Alright, so that's the closest I can bring it. 81.6 kilometers. That's... I'll take that. That's good. That's really good. Little 3.3 meters per second adjustment there. Barely any time at all. Well, make it a 25-second alarm. So in 4 days, when our ship leaves Kerbin SOI and gets out onto its solar orbit, we'll adjust it again for an intercept. And that intercept currently is 32 days out, with 56 days to when the asteroid comes into Kerbin's SOI. So, we shall adjust it there. On with the show as I keep cleaning up old contracts and just moving things along in the background. So after completing a Min-Miss mission, I have picked up another Duna synchronous satellite. And that's going to be it. We're done being able to pick up contracts for Duna. So we've got 4 stars in satellites, a couple of stations we got to put up in the 3-star, surface outpost, and a couple of asteroids. My 1 stars won't go to Duna yet, so they're out, and I'm just going to ignore these for a bit. So we're just going to finish up with this asteroid and get the sword into space. And I think what we'll do is we'll launch the sword next. So the sword is 405 parts. There's no avoiding that. The majority of it are hiding inside this cargo bay here, which are our little mushroom drop tanks. There's a lot of parts in that. So when we drop these off with the tug, we'll have less of an issue there. So we're going to take up the orbital launcher. I've already kicked out the crew, in theory. There we go. My system is going to lag horribly while this launches. There's not much I can do about that. Let's put her in space. Or fail miserably. 773,000 roots. So here we are out on the launch pad. Everything's still kind of loading up. SAS is on. Throttle is set to full. Ignition. Excellent. Good separation. The rest of this should be smooth sailing to orbit. Well, so far so good. We've launched reasonably. We're currently floating up towards our target. I want to try and put this guy into a tight orbit. I want to put him in at about 72, 75 if I can aim for it. It's a little tight to Atmo, but I should be able to pull it off. Inside this ship, in case you guys have forgotten, it's been a little bit, we've got the two Hawks, which are our major science gathering units. Inside here is basically just fuel and a bunch of monoprop. Not much going on in the center. It is built to be able to dock up on the front. No, I'm sorry, I take that back. I got a cupola on the front as an emergency. Uh-oh, that went horribly wrong. And that should pretty much cover what this thing can do. Remember, I don't think I have any extra docking ports. This isn't really meant to hook up to any of the other ships. Yeah, and it doesn't. I've got a mini up here. And oh, that's right. I've got the big one down here so it can be refueled if necessary. Figure we'll bring these home at some point, maybe. So at this point, we've just got to climb up into space, and I'll bring it back when we get up to that. There, that should do. So it looks like we're getting up into space with about 3950 in Delta V. I'm just going to do one orbital correction burn for this guy, and we'll be good to go. 72.7, 72.8. The sword is in space, ready to go to Duna. Now all you have to do is load up the Aries Helm with some crew, and then fast forward time until we get to our launch window. So let's go take a look at what else needs to be done here. So here I have an 18-man station I had launched at one point somewhere. I think it went solar. So we're going to send up all of our crew in one shot up towards the helm, since I know this thing flies, and we'll get this up where it needs to go. Now here's anything you can do with Kerr if you've got it. If you open up Rendezvous, and we let the engineer close, thank you. And when you come in here, you can search for what you want to link up with. Like here, I'm going to check station, Aries Helm. If I come up here, that's me. Somewhere around here is the helm. That's the boots. That's Ike. There's the helm that's over there. So we should probably wait for the helm to come around, just to make our lives a little easier. Oh, I need to switch the type on the Aries sword. So the helm just pulled into rendezvous area. Let's back off on this. And let's send our mighty Kerbals up to where they need to be. Now I'm controlling from the wrong point. I need to control from here. There we go. And off we go. So we've just pulled in the Station 18 up near the helm. We disconnected our engine way back here just because it was a little difficult to deal with. Looks like I've got a little drift towards the helm, so I'm going to correct that. I can figure out which direction I need to stop things going in. There we go. Alright, now, let's get Jeb over into the driver's seat of the helm. Actually, Obby's my best guide these days. Let's get Obby piloting. Out you go, Obby. Whoa, Obby! Wow, dude, where you going? Come on, get your RCS out. Obby. Dude, seriously. What the heck? Wow, he's taking forever to actually respond. I can't even turn his lights on. There we go. Alright, come on, buddy. Get your RCS pack working. Oh, I'm so glad I pulled up nice and close as he ejects out into the middle of nowhere. Come on. Can you grab your thruster pack, please? There we go. 350 meters later. So, obviously, this is going to be an adventure getting the Kerbals in. We'll get them boarded here. Looks like the station's kind of jammed up with things over there. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to move the station back a bit. That's a little close for an undocked ship. It's got a docking port on it, but it doesn't have RCS. It was never meant for usage outside of a suicide station for solar. Let's get Abby into the cockpit of this. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll just use the helm to dock it up. Pull up a bit, go right a bit. Just a little bit of thrust. A little bit more this way. We'll set that Clampotron as a target. Swing around as we kind of slip past the station here. Come on, keep swinging or you're going to hit the wolf. There you go. Just a nice slow drift past the helm. I need some more accuracy out of this thruster, so I'm going to drop its thrust down to, let's say, 20. There we go. Give me a little more accuracy with it anyway. There we go. Alright, so this is kind of lined up. We'll spin it in so that it's closer to being dead on target. No, not you. You! There we go. Alright, let's turn that off for a second. Come on. Any day now. It's still loading. There we go. Alright, so we control from there. I'm going to target that. Alright. RCS on. Not too far off. That's pretty decent. There we go. And we've hooked our crew component on. Now we just need to transfer everybody over to the ship. You guys don't need to watch me do this, so I'll bring you back right after we're done with that. So with all of our crew finally transferred, and that took a bit, the lag is nasty. We're going to undock this component, and the Aries helm is ready to fly. Let's get this unhooked. Now, I do need to figure out how to, well, I guess that works. Suppose as long as it doesn't hit anything on its way out, it's valid. Alright. Well, I guess we'll go a bit that way. Guess a yes might help, huh? Oh yeah, let's put the thrusters up. Now, confirmed, I have no Kerbals in here. Let's go away from the helm. That can't be right. Ah, I'm controlling from the wrong location. That's why everything's a little screwy. Control from there. There we go. Alright, that's forward. Now I set this thing on a course for self-destruction. Goodbye. Well, that takes care of that. Some farmer somewhere is about to have a bad day. And the Helm is ready to go. Let's open up the rest of our solar panels up here. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to leave them in now that I think about it. Alright, and from here, we're just waiting for the launch window and to finish off that asteroid mission. So let's go finish that off. Hey guys, well, we bypassed our burn node here by accident, but that was because I was trying to get the recorder up, and I failed miserably. So we're just going to catch up with it briefly here, and then we'll do another readjustment for our asteroid chaser. So we'll kill that, turn SAS back on. So our actual is down to 168. That's too much. Alright, so now let's add in a new node. So now we're just going to do this again and just play with it a little bit. Trying not to grab the all that stuff that's hanging around Kerbin. So now here's the problem. It's really hard to get minor adjustments. So we're going to kill that node and we're going to try it again. Alright, forget that. This thing is horribly, horribly touchy. So let's set one up a lot closer. Like there. Alright, so that gets me to 47. If I move this back some, we're going to 151. So yeah, we'll make another burn out there to get a lot closer. And then we'll do a final adjustment burn once we get right up on top of it. But considering this node is in 22 days, and our Duna's leaving 39, actually we probably get to this. I've pretty much locked up all of my missions and ships into the Duna run. So I've just literally got time to kill. So, look at how fast we can move time. Okay, so we're coming up on my node. A whopping 0.4 seconds of node. Alright, we'll just touch the lock on a maneuver here to get us aimed up, and then we'll take it off. We'll just wait here a second. And we'll just touch our burn. There, that's reasonably close. Okay, so that brings us in at 45 kilometers. Now, okay, so we want to do one more node out here. So we're about 5 days out from the intersection. Let's aim our maneuver node out for 4 days out. So by dragging it along, and down there on the bottom, you can see about how far out you are. So that's about right. Now, one more adjustment to see if we can't get within, let's say, 10 to 15 kilometers. How about if we adjust that way? Nope. Nope. Alright, so I'm pretty close to on target. I'm not going to get much closer then. Alright, so the final trick is to put a maneuver node right on the descending node. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little math. I'm sorry. What we're going to do is we're going to take our orbital velocity and the asteroid's velocity that we're trying to get. So it's going 9516. We're doing 9092. Let's round that off to 500, 508, 524. So we have a 524 meters per second distance. Now here's the real neat trick in Claw's walkthrough. What we're going to do is we're going to put our maneuver right on, and we're going to burn this up until we have 524 meters per second worth of velocity difference. Now our next move is to adjust our ascending descending to match his. So we're descending here, so we're going to pull up. There we go. That gets us to 0.0. And finally, we're going to pull the blue marker to change our orbital angle until we get back to what we were at before. Okay, this has gone horribly wrong. Alright, let me look over the technique for this again. Okay, I see where I made this mistake. Alright. Let's switch this to target. There we go. So, what we're going to do, we're going to add a maneuver. We're going to get our 524. Alright, now we, once again, even off our orbits. Whoops. May have been a bit much. Okay, now the key is we're going to pull on the blue nodes until we match the target closure velocity. And what should happen is the blue marker should end up layered on top of the retrograde marker. So pull it, and if it's going the wrong direction, pull the other direction. There we go. And once we get this up to 1368, alright, it should only require 1368, but we're getting above it. So I'm just going to sit on 1368 and see how that works out for us. That's close enough. So let's see how this does for us as we approach for the final. And basically we're going to want to aim right in between the marker and retrograde. Okay, in the meanwhile, as I said, I'm at 17 days to my Duna window according to KAC. I'm on day 210, as you can see up here in the upper left. The optimal flight time for Duna is at day 233 in year 1. So that's 23 days out. So Kerbal Alarm Clock actually tells you when the window for the cheapest Delta V opens, not when it's closing or not dead center. You can find that out if you look up Alex Moon KSP and go to the KSP launch window planner, and you'll find it. So, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going to miss my. We're going to head back to our asteroid capturing unit here. Where are you? A-class asteroid 2. So I'm pulling up on my maneuver node, and as you can see, my target is definitely trying to fly past me here. So we're going to close that. At 2 minutes, I start my burn. Let's see if I can see my target anywhere out there. Alright, so I may not have done this quite right. I've still got a little bit of burn left. I'm 1.7... I'm a million meters away, so... What's that? 1,000 kilometers? So we're going to burn towards the target a bit and see if we can't clean up this rendezvous. Because, yeah, this definitely wasn't right. So, we'll burn off to the side a bit, see if I can't move the prograde marker over. Alright, what are we looking at for rendezvous times now? Okay, so that's about the closest I'm going to get in about an hour 26. So we will add the alarm for that. I'll probably need about 3 minutes to do with my burn. So we'll flip ourselves over. I guess that's going to be up right around there. So yeah, I don't think maybe I didn't quite do it right. Maybe I didn't put the maneuver node in quite the right position. I'm not sure what I did wrong. Hey, look, my target, way down there. All right, let's kill our relative speed. So XLB 493 just loaded up. I don't know if I can switch to it. I can. If I go to the map, what is your mass? You don't tell me. Rats. Alright. Alright, so we finished pulling into XLB 493. Let's take a look at something real fast. I am currently 17.95 tons. Let's see how bad I am when I hook up. Now, I'm not aimed at any particular direction that I need to be right now. I can't seem to arm this. There we go. I also want to control from there. Now we're going to want to aim ourselves directly at the center of mass. Like so. Turn on our RCS. And we shall approach. Well, that's curious. We didn't hook up. Come on. Grab it. There we go. So we went from 17.94 to 48.8. So 31 ton rock. We've only got 1500 delta V left. Alright. Now, we need to put this thing into orbit on Kerbin. So let's focus on Kerbin for a second. I suppose we can start with Moon. Now if we put in a maneuver node up here, and we try and break this thing into any form of orbit, I have enough delta V. I mean, it's not a great orbit, but it's an orbit. Alright, now I don't know if I've got enough RCS to swing this, and I don't know if I'll break the arm in the attempt, but we're gonna give it a go. What I don't want to do though is I don't want to use the reaction units. I want to use RCS only. Okay, so they're disabled. We'll turn off SAS, so once I get this brick rolling, we can just keep spinning it. Okay, nice and slow, it'll get around. So I'm about done coming around, and as you can tell, I haven't turned my SAS back on yet. I'm just kind of bringing her over. I'm going to get her close. I'm not going to try and get it perfect because this thing does wander while you're away from the vehicle. So it's in the right place. We'll turn on SAS. I'll give him back his torque. And there we go. We should be able to capture this in 27 days. So we'll add in a maneuver node for him. It's a long burn. Yeah, we'll give it a 10-minute alarm so that I have some time to deal with any last-minute corrections or slow changes I have to make. So, on that note, guys, I'm going to do the actual Duna insertion burns for the next episode. So that's going to end this episode of the agency. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.